Hey guys, this is Dennis at Denis Oakley Strategy Consulting. So today we carry on our series of how to stress test your business model. It's a series of provocative questions that are going to make you quaver in your boots as you realize that your business is not quite as amazing as you think. Alternatively, you may come away feeling pretty damn good because you have a rock solid business and know that you are destined to grow. So today the big question is, how strong are your margins? A long time ago, I was running a steel business and we had great margins. This was in 2007. 2008 came along and our margins collapsed almost 95% down to under 1%. We actually had it pretty good in comparison to some people. A Chinese company that I knew was selling a ton of steel, and the margin on a ton of steel was less than the price of a can of Coke. In the case of Malaysian currency, that would be about 25 US cents. 25 US cents at the time. That is not a lot of money, and it's a pretty horrible place to be in. So when you're got strong margins, you're in a pretty strong place, you've got money to play with, the customers are obviously valuing your product, or there is very little competition out there. One of the key places where you can have great margins is where customers don't have enough information, where there is asymmetric information in place. So consider, for example, the famous case of buying a second-hand car. You don't know if it's a crap car. The seller, the second-hand car salesman, does know if it's a crap car. And so that information really has a very significant impact on the margins and the prices. So ask yourself the question, do you benefit from strong margins, or are your margins poor? The follow-up questions, let me just try a little bit experiment. Oh yeah, and I've got my picture right in the middle so you can see me all in my beauty. So what's happening to your margins over time? Are they increasing? Are they decreasing? What is the trend like? If they're decreasing, that suggests that you've got increasing competition. Your value proposition isn't as successful in the competition for customers' hearts and minds as it used to be. If it's increasing, what are the structural changes in the marketplace? Have you simply got better salespeople, or are they bullshitting you? And there is something else out there in the market that is causing the change. Why are your margins changing? Is there a sustained trend over time, or is it just seasonal variation, just noise flying out there? And so, okay, so a few more questions on the impact. What is the impact of the marketing environment on your margins? So, for example, in the case of the steel company that I used to run, we were screwed by the rest of the environment. In that case, there was a massive global overcapacity for steel, and given the downturn in the economic climate, there was zero or very small demand for steel at the same time, and that just led to an absolutely perfect storm, really squeezing margins down absolutely massively. Alternatively, the environment may be reasonably good, but it's your competitors and what they're doing is causing a big squeeze on your margins. A lot of the time we will have products that are really satisfying customers. I remember when my dad brought a new car home, and it was absolutely brilliant. You could press a button on the door and the window would go down like that. It was amazing. Everybody else had a little handle that turned the window down, and suddenly the car manufacturers, I think Rover or British Leyland at the time, they suddenly lost margin because customers didn't see that their cars were nearly as valuable, so they had to lower the price to shift them. And that was because what the competitors were doing, and I can't remember who it was, I think it was Ford at the time, introduced that on the Ford Fiesta as much more as a standard product. What is the impact of your management on your margins? looking again, comparing you with your competitors. What is it that your management are doing to change the amount of margin that you're able to capture? Are you able to capture more value? If your management is capturing about the same percentage margin as your competitors, then basically they're not really sort of delivering, what's the stock market term? They're not really delivering alpha. Yeah, they're just delivering beta. They're keeping pace with the market. What you need your management team is to slowly be opening up a small gap between you and everybody else. So the classic example here is a company like Apple, that even with only 20% of the smartphone market, they're still able to capture 70, 80, 90% of all the profits in the industry. They've got much fatter margins even compared to their closest competitor, Samsung. Why is that? And then that leads on to the question. So Samsung is saying, okay, why has Apple got strong margins? Why are they able to do that? In Apple's cases, it's the claim that the better design, it's the integrated system. So the app and the software is all integrated together. So why hasn't Samsung managed to be able to break that apart? Why haven't they managed to get into a new place after, what is it, over 10 years now of the iPhone, where they're able to start pinching down that margin and getting Apple into a red ocean of competition? Same time, why has Apple been able to maintain that margin strength? And then finally, one of the really important questions is sort of going back to the value proposition that we've been talking about in previous videos, is what are the aspects in your value proposition that you are deliberately using to boost the margin? What can you supply that is just not, you don't have to supply it just to solve the problem in a basic way, but what part of your value proposition really delights the customer and moves you into a place where you can charge a much bigger margin before fundamentally exactly the same thing? Why is a 5-star hotel able to charge more than a very simple cafe? The waiter and the waitress brings the food to the table in almost exactly the same way, but in one they're able to charge far more for that experience, and the other is far less. What is it about the way that they put the value proposition together that makes that possible? So that's a fairly simple example. Go back now to your value propositions and see, okay, what can I add in to create a purple cow? What can I do to make my business really remarkable? That's it for today's little session. I hope that you've got some ideas on how you can start stress testing your business model, specifically looking at your sources of revenue today. If you like this video, please do press like, subscribe to this channel or all of the channels, and head over to denis-oakley.com and sign up for the email. Have a look at all the goodness there. And if you're in a case where you're worried about your business and what you're going to do next, give me a call. I can help you stress test your business model and then give you new business models, new opportunities to get back into growth and into those good times. So thanks for listening. Have a great day. Speak to you soon.